Good evening, YouTube. So I have a question to ask, kind of just a discussion to maybe bring up. Is C++ still the best thing to be teaching on this channel specifically? And the reason I bring this up is during job searches and stuff that I have done since I've been out of school, it seems like C++ isn't really desired. At least from a software and web development perspective. Again, I haven't worked in the game industry, so C++ might still be desired there, but it seems like the general consensus for C++ in other industries is that it's not really wanted. When I have been applying for jobs, usually it seems like C# or Java or Python are more commonly desired by employers. With my new job, I'm a Django developer, so that's Python web development. And I still believe that C++ is a good language to learn for if you're majoring in computer science at a university. There's a lot of handy things it'll teach you that you might kind of miss out on if you're learning Java or C#, and C++ is still my favorite language, but I'm just debating whether it's the best language to be teaching for game development related stuff. And at the same time, for my personal projects, it isn't something I'm using as often, even though I still kind of prefer it to some extent. Part of the reason is just the ability to have other people play your games. You have to build it for each platform. It's a pain to get C++ and the Android NDK working, at least in my experience. And I haven't tried to use it with a native client for web applications. There are other languages that you can do these desktop, web, and mobile applications with a lot easier, like Python or Java. I've been doing a lot of JavaScript and HTML5 lately because when you're ready to show it off, you basically just give someone a URL and you don't have to do any extra work. They don't need to install anything. It just runs. And that's kind of a big appeal just for my small games since I haven't made anything all that large. So maybe the question is, what is this channel about really? Is it about game development or is it about programming? Am I supposed to teach you skills for hobbyist game development or stuff that could come in handy professionally? And I mean software and web development. What should I be focusing on? Because at this point, I'm not sure whether I should spend the time teaching basics of C++ and a specific lib or multiple libraries for making games with C++, or if I should use another language or pursue another topic. So for example, this fall semester I've been teaching web development at UMKC, so HTML, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and MySQL. Those were in the class catalog. And I could turn those lectures and slides and all of that into a tutorial on the internet. Or I could write more about JavaScript or Python or other languages. Or I could spend time learning Unity or Blender or making utility applications like map editors or just interesting other things besides games. And in general, I haven't had a lot of drive to make any games recently, unless it's combined with another hobby of mine, like a means to an end. So for example, I last month wrote a JavaScript library, and it has support for using multiple languages, and that's because I might want to make some games in Esperanto or Edo, as well as English. I was also thinking of doing some videos on language learning, as in like, you know, these constructed languages, Edo, and so on. Or other non-programming related things. I'm not sure what I know outside of programming. I mean, that I'm really adept at, maybe the piano, but I can post about other projects or other tutorials or, you know, other interesting things that are interesting to me. So really, my question is, what should my focus be? Or, I mean, it's still up to me in the long run, but like, for example, there used to be a pretty big, like, C++ kind of oriented developer community on YouTube, and I think in the recent years that's kind of died down a bit. So it's a little bit less fun to kind of keep up with all of that stuff. I've been kind of picking up other hobbies and stuff so I don't get burnt out on just programming. I've been doing I do a lot of web development for fun, which is a little bit weird, but that's just something else I could cover, So is C++ such a big deal that it's something I need to cover further? Do I need to make beginner C++ tutorials and cover basically what I taught in CS 201 in programming 1 and 2? Or are people interested in learning other languages and other libraries, even if it's easier and less hardcore, which I'm not really as concerned about anymore now that I'm 25 and not 18. I don't need to be a hardcore amateur C++ developer. So yeah, thoughts. Are you interested in programming, game development, web development, other things? I don't know.